As it happens, Suzuki and Honda seems to be reading each other's minds. Because at exactly the same time, both have decided to go hard into the mid-range adventure segment. Honda have revived the iconic Transalp name, drilling the cylinders out to 750 and giving the whole thing a complete makeover. Suzuki is bulging the V-Strom lineup with the DL800DE. Both have brand new parallel twin motors with new steel frames, wire wheels and 21-inch front wheels. And both are similarly priced, with the Honda at 209,000 Rand and the Suzuki slightly less at 195. But which one should you buy? To help, we thought we would get two typical adventure riders together. No, not that rubbish, proper adventure riders. There we go. Joining us today we have Craig Heidemann. He is one of those adventure riders who is both experienced and prepared. But let's start with the bikes. The Honda's parallel twin has 750 cc's, pushing a decent 90 horsepower and 75 newton meters of torque.
As you start that motor, you hear it growl. Yeah, that's an almighty growl from a motor. And it growls even more when you open the throttle. Growl, growl, I'm angry. This is an angry motorbike.
What a bike. The motor is fantastic. It's smooth, it's nippy. You know, coming from riding a 1100 Africa Twin, I thoroughly enjoyed that motor. Being the plus size kind of guy, I thought it would have a little bit of a downer, you know, battle to get up or past the cars or the trucks, but I tell you, it just pulled and it gave every answer that I needed, you know. There was no hesitation whatsoever.
While the badge says 800, the motor capacity of the Suzuki is actually 776cc, only 21 more than the Honda. The extra volume gives it 78 newton meters of torque, that's 3 more than the Honda, but it pushes 93 horsepower, 7 less than the Transalp. Much of that has to do with the double balanced shaft that may sap power but adds something else.
But this motor does not have the pull that Transalp has, definitely not. I mean, the way the Transalp can get up to, especially like up to 180 kilometers an hour, it just seems to rocket there like nothing, where this lags a little bit. But again, this bike is so smooth. You get on the Transalp, it's definitely got a rougher feel to it, where this just is, it's like nothing. It's sort of nothing coming through the bars, nothing, anything. And that's kind of a bad thing because it sort of lacks a little bit of kind of feel, a little bit of emotion, if you know what I mean. It doesn't talk to you as much. But on the other hand, if you're going to spend 12 hours in the saddle, that little fizz through the handlebars might become a problem, whereas this it won't. And this is, I mean, okay, maybe a bigger, this has got an off-road screen. I'll put maybe a bigger screen, something more like what the Transalp has. But this is the sort of bike you could happily sit in for 12 hours and just go somewhere.
Suzuki, also smooth motor. You know, it's a very tight fight between the both of them. The low down, it's got a lot of torque down below, where the Honda from about 4.5 up it starts to speak to you. The Suzuki is a bit more of an all-round motor. But yeah, I love them both.
It's much the same in the dirt.
That smooth motor. It's a lot of traction, even with the traction control switched off. It doesn't spin that much. It sort of just goes forward. It doesn't have the oomph of a Transalp, but it has a lot of its forwardness.
Whereas the Transalp,
all this motor has a punch. But here on the dirt road, as you open that motor, turn the traction control off and spin, whoop. It just goes zoop, 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 and spins and growls its way forward. It's like it gets angry that it's not gripping. It's like, ah, grip, ah, attack it harder.
as far as the motors go, the Honda is a power crazy speed fanatic, whereas the Suzuki is more about the luxurious side. The same thing happens when we look at the suspension. The Honda, of course, uses shower with a travel of 200mm in the front and 190mm in the rear. That's good, but could be more.
The Honda, definitely a softer suspension, more road usage or soft sand, like a standard sandy road.
This doesn't have the suspension travel that Suzuki has. That's definite. You can feel it. Like you hit some of these bumps and the Suzuki just glides over it. This sort of thonks, especially the front end. The back's sort of okay, but the front, you know, you hit one of the big bumps and quah, thonk. Comes down with a thonk. Oh, feel that thonk.
The Suzuki too borrows from the shower catalog, but raises it to 220mm, 20 more than the Honda.
If you're asking which bike will give me more, definitely the Suzuki. The suspension, yes, it takes a thumping. It works a lot better than the Honda. No, there's no rebounds or anything like that on the Honda. It's a straightforward suspension. You're going to have to upgrade it. But definitely the Suzuki gave me what I needed to get out of it.
Hoppa! Jumping on the tar.
So far we are 1-1. But then we get to the category of mass. The Honda weighs in at 208 kilograms. That's impressive for a fully fueled adventure bike. The Suzuki, on the other hand, tips the scale at a heftier 230 kilograms. To show the difference, we decided to have a quick 100-meter dash, pushing style. Well, where I push and Craig times. This is the lighter one, this should be fine. And I must point out, that is slightly uphill, but anyway. Okay, Craig, count us down.
Right, Donovan, count to 3. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, we're moving. We're moving.
Oh, this looks like a bit of a struggle.
Still moving.
Come on, Don, you can do it.
Come on. Come on, Honda. Come on, legs, don't give up now. Yes.
Come on, Don.
Yes. Yes.
We can make it.
Yes.
Come on. Yes. 28:31.
Slightly slower than Usain Bolt, but I'll take it. Right. So this is 21 kilograms heavier. Now just imagine 10 and a half 2-liter Coke bottles filled with water strapped here on the Honda. That's sort of the difference. All right, shall we?
Right, Donovan, count to 3.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. That's a lot of...
Oh boy. I'm definitely struggling on this one.
Come on. This definitely has more gravity about it.
Come on, Don.
Come on! That's why we need to live on Mars. Doesn't have all this gravity rubbish.
Come on, 2 more meters. And we go. 36.52.
I'm gonna need a minute. And so the Honda takes the lead. But what happens when we look at practicality? Okay, so the way this works, very simply, is we're going to have a traction control race. And what we do is we turn the bike on, turn the traction control off, and then start the bike. And we're going to time which one is quicker to do all of that, from turnkey to start motorcycle with traction control off. Okay, Craig, are you ready?
Right, Don, you ready?
Yeah.
Count to 3.
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Transop, that's very nice. It says Transop. Right, we hold down the mode button until that thing starts flashing. There, that's on the power level. We go across to traction control. We go down. First of all, by the way, it's got to be in user mode before we do this. Luckily, it was in. Now, we hold it down, and there we go. It's off. Now we hold down the mode button. There we go, and voila.
26 seconds.
26 seconds. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, on your marks, get set, go! Right, ignition on, There's a startup thing and
Waiting for service light.
service light. All right, off we go. Why was that so fast?
Done.
11 seconds. And that puts the DL back into the running. But then we move on to general riding, starting with the Honda.
Now, I complained about the Suzuki seat being slightly hard. This bike seat is a whole lot harder. Honestly, it does. It feels a bit like a plank. This bike doesn't have a quick shifter, but this gearbox is very smooth. You can change gear very effortlessly on it. It's also got a nice screen. The screen's pretty good, better than the Suzuki's. That has more of an off-road style screen.
But the Suzuki has a lot to offer too.
This bike has an executive feel about it. Just everything feels executive. It's so neat and sort of well put together, well presented. Little caps over the Allen keys on the handlebar mounts. These beautiful switches, all nice and simple, very simple to use. A very striking, easy to use dash. It's all just executive.
Okay, keep in mind we said earlier, okay, so the Suzuki is definitely more off-roady. Also, I find it slightly more comfortable, so better for the sort of long distance adventure where you're going into the unknown. The Honda is more, for me, is more a bike for somebody who will gonna ride to work and back every day, and then on weekends maybe do a bit of off-road. So if you had to choose now, you had to buy one of these bikes, what would you buy?
It would be a tough one. I would probably go for the Suzuki because it fits me better. Being the bigger person, the Honda seems to suit a slightly smaller framed person. I'm a lot more comfortable on the Suzuki. It's got the wider bars. It's got seems to have a little bit more legroom as well for me. Yeah, it'll be the Suzuki for sure.
I'm going to say similar to what we said in the, we had the Hornet versus the ATS, which are the same motors, and I kind of wish that we could have a Suzuki with a Honda motor.
Absolutely.
You know, that would be the sort of most ideal. I think, okay, given the way we ride it, you're right. Now I live in the countryside, so I'm doing a lot of off-road, a lot of kind of heavier kind of off-road. I think I'd be better suited to the Suzuki. If I had to ride to work and back every day through Joburg, I would miss the power of that Honda, I really would. And when I get stuck in a really tight spot, I would miss that 30 kilograms missing on the Honda also. But I think for me, yeah, I think with the sort of riding we do, we'd be better off on the Suzuki.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't agree more.